Hi, welcome back. So I was trying to see if I could mess with the lighting on my phone, but I don't know what I did. But it's usually I could just slide up, and it would. You can't even see what I'm doing. Slide up, and it would like to be the volume on one side and the lighting, the brightness on the other side. But for whatever reason, it's not working. So I literally just finished the last episode of season 3 of "Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?" There are 12 episodes. I kind of raced through my other review of the first and second season, and because I had to go help my sister with groceries, I think it was, and yeah. So here's the my review on the third season. It's 12 episodes. You can find all 3 of the seasons with the original audio and English subtitles on Crunchyroll. As if we're going to get a 4th season, I don't know. I'm assuming so. They do leave it off at the end that quite clearly they want to continue. They leave it open for like a cliffhanger of he will get stronger. Anyway, so at the end of the 2nd season, we got the last scene we saw was Monster Girl being kind of like born from the labyrinth. Not the labyrinth, I'm sorry. The dungeon. Why am I calling it the labyrinth? I think there's a labyrinth in the dungeon. Anyway, born from the dungeon, and she goes, "Where am I?" That's how it ends. And then we start the 3rd season off with that girl running through a forest in the dungeon. She's being chased by adventurers, and she kind of is wounded and is quite clearly scared she's going to die. And she kind of trips, falls into a tree, and she happens to fall by Belle, who is fighting like I want to say a phoenix. They don't say what the monster is, but it's a bird. It's orange. There's fire breathing shit going on. I'm assuming a phoenix. I don't know any other birds that do that, but whatever. No, it's made of fire. Does the phoenix breathe fire? I don't know. I don't know anything about phoenixes. Anyway, so it's like some kind of firebird thing he's fighting. And he kind of like hops up on a tree branch to kind of like get away from it or something. And he's smack dab in front of this this thing. I don't know how to pronounce what she is. They do say what she is though, and they later name her Wiene, and it's spelled Wiene, I believe, Wiene. And Bill kind of sees her. She's crying, and he kind of takes to like hiding her with his cloak and killing the bird, which as he's fighting it automatically targets her. So he goes to like stop it, kills it, hides her. The other adventurers that were chasing her run past. Have you seen a so and so? And he's like, no, but I need a potion. Like my companion, who's Weenie hiding in the cloak. And they're just like, leave. And he kind of like takes them back to his other companions. Of course, that is Welf and Lily and Makoto, and they're still in the dungeon at this time. And of course, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Saving a monster, Belle?" So they're freaking out because monsters, humanity. So of course, the reaction is immediately to pull out weapons, and Belle manages to talk them down. And they take her out of the dungeon into like the Hestia house, which is the house that they got from Apollo after kicking his ass in season 2. So they still have the house. They lost everything else, but they have the house. No, I'm sorry, they didn't so much lose everything else. Is they renovated it like fucking why Hestia? Like why would you waste all of that money on renovations? Like it's one thing if the house really needed it. Didn't look like it did. Granted, they did do some awesome things. Like they did they made a blacksmith area for Welf, which I can see being a reasonable purchase. And then they did a giant like Japanese style bath for Makoto, which okay, awesome, but like you have other priorities. And I think they did one other thing, but I can't remember what it was. And yeah, I think they say that in season 2, and then you find out about the dead. But yeah, season 3. So they take Winnie, the little monster girl, back to the Hestia house, and they learn, like just before they do that, like right after they lower the weapons, they learn that she can actually talk. Like she's intelligent, just like they are. She can talk. So then I kind of end up hiding her at the house for a while, and then the bulk of this this season is dealing with Belle and these talking monsters, which we later find out are called the Xenos. They are intelligent. Of course, they are hunted by adventurers because obviously they're monsters. They are born of the labyrinth, just like the monsters. And unlike the monsters, they are intelligent and they can talk. However, monsters also attack them for whatever reason. So they kind of hide in these little pockets in the labyrinth away from the monsters in areas kind of like how we had the Under Resort in season 1, which was this little 18 of the labyrinth or whatever, the 18th floor I believe they called it, called Under Resort. And it's this little spot where monsters aren't hostile or anything. So it's kind of like that. They find these little unexplored pockets of areas where no monsters are born, and they kind of run around hiding from the adventurers and trying to find other comrades like themselves. And we find out that the god Uranus is involved. That there's was she a sage, I believe, who succeeded in finding eternal life, and her name is Fells, and I guess they say she at one point was called Fells the Fool, and so her, and it's a lot of Belle kind of having his world flipped around, that monsters, some of them have emotions, some of them have intelligence just like them, and his kind of wanting to protect Weenie, but quite clearly if he does that, he could kind of become the enemy of humanity, because honestly monsters are the enemies of humanity. And so it's a lot of that, and then there's also him trying to hide that, hide what he found, but also kind of wanting to find a way to get coexistence to happen. And then there's also Hermes knows about it, and then we have a little bit of Uranus, who is, I guess, the god that the guild worships, and it seems like the upper echelon know, but not everyone in the guild knows. The advisor, I believe she is, of Belle, that girl with the elf ears and the short, the cropped brown hair, green eyes that we see in season 1. His advisor, I think her name's Internet. Am I right? Erina. And we do see her, but quite clearly she doesn't know. And there's also, there's some of the fuck I know saying, and then just it blanked just everything out my head. Anyway, God damn it! And just when I was starting to remember, it let go again. You forget something, and then you're about to remember, and then you forget worse than before. Before you're I had a vague thought of where I was going, and then when you're trying to think of what you were forgetting, you somehow forget even what vague idea you remembered you had. That's where I am right now. Okay, so yeah, it's we have Uranus and Fells and Hermes doing his shit, which at this point, how has he not told Belle anything? It's quite clear he knows Belle's grandfather, and I don't know if they ever I don't know if I'm just picking up tidbits that are actually there, or if I'm just my own theory at this point is that I'm assuming he knew Belle's grandfather. Belle's grandfather maybe was Zeus or something. He does say at the end of season 1, Hermes does, about what are you saying, Zeus? He's kind of talking to himself. That Belle's the last member of Zeus's family or something, the last hero you left us. And, it's very quick, and never fully going in on it. But so I feel we're in season 3 at this point. Can you actually confirm if can you confirm what the fuck is going on? But it's there's that. So of course he's fucking around trying to do things again, and he does support the Xenos, but at the same time, it's clear through the last episodes that if it means Belle not being seen as a hero, being seen as he calls a heretical hero, defending these monsters, then he would rather put things back so that Belle is a hero again, even if that means sacrificing the Xenos. And Freya is back again. I feel we had a lot more of her in the first season, and then a little bit in the second, and then she's about the same as the second season in this one, where she's again fucking around in the background. And like the last few episodes, we see her doing some stuff. And fuck, what else is it? But yeah, like I said, it's a lot of Belle trying to kind of like figure out what to do. There's also rumors of like armored monsters going around. That is the Xenos. They're like wanted posters, and then he ends up through Weene, kind of like them in the dungeon. And I think is he gets they're trying to return Weene to the dungeon because they don't want her to be found, and they get a message from the guild that is like a secret letter. So it's like one of the upper guilds that clearly knows what's going on gives a letter to Bella's advisor, Anna. Again, I don't know if that's her name. I think that's her name. And she is to give it to Bella in secrecy. Don't look into it. Just hand the letter. And what it is Bella being summoned by Uranus. Oh fuck, I finally remember what I was going to say. Okay, so yeah, it's Bella's trying to deal with like what's going on with the Xenos and how it affects his, like him wanting to do coexistence, and he doesn't really think about, like his beliefs are changing. He's not really sure what to do. He wants to defend her, but he also knows that that's going to go over badly with the humans. And then another plot is that we have the group that was chasing Weene in the first episode and all throughout the fucking season are called the Ikelos family. I believe it's Ikelos. And kind of like was the Soma familiar, quite clearly, neither of them give a fuck about each other. Ew, oh god, I'm so sorry, it's so gross. Like, you know when spit builds up in your mouth and you're talking, you're not paying attention, then it just comes out. I'm sorry. It's gross. Yeah, so what I mean by he's like Soma is that it's quite clear that he doesn't really give a shit about his kids. He's just bored, and they don't give a shit about him. They're just kind of using him. And they're doing illegal monster trading, which means they're secretly going into the dungeon. I keep wanting to call it a labyrinth. The dungeon, and taking out monsters and torturing them and selling them. And of course, they wanted to get Weenie to do the same. And a bit of a trigger warning is I didn't think about this until now, I'm sorry. They don't actually do anything, but it's quite clear that some of them don't just torture them. Like, the way they're acting towards this one character who is pretty important because of the effect she will have later on, is they're quite clearly trying to sexually abuse her. They're trying to rape her as they're, like, she's literally about to die. But she was not like a fucking boss. This bitch is like, oh no, you're not going to defile me. Rips out her own fucking core. All monsters have core. Like these little crystal core type things, and then they all turn to like dust or ash or fucking thing. Some mystical, magical, black, smoky, and like a few embers, whoosh, and they're fucking gone. Like it drops core, and if you're really lucky, you might drop like we get a Belle in the first season where like the Mentarche fight turns to like white smoke. Which, by the way, all the others have done black smoke, but for whatever reason, that one had like white fucking sandy smoke. Maybe it's the way he killed it. I don't know. Like, maybe whatever the fuck it's made of, that black shit. Maybe, like, the heat from his firebolt, like, turned it white. Maybe it was, like, it was a different level, so it went poof. I don't know. What color did, like, the fucking Goliath, what color did he go poof into? I don't know. Like, it's always black. But for whatever reason, it was white that time. Anyway. So it, like, rips out her fucking core. And is like, we'll get revenge on you, bitch. And, like, as they're trying to, like, sexually assault her, like, they're rubbing her abdomen, which... creepy motherfuckers. Like, I don't like spiders, but your creepy motherfuckers die. She just puts acid at their faces, rips out her own coat, she's like, fuck you, and just leaves. And I'm just like, oh. And even, like, the leader of, like, the family, his name is, like, Dix Paradix. He's an asshole. I was like, oh, that's kind of badass. Maybe we could have gotten along. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think so, you creepy motherfucker. You literally give them the okay to, like, rape her. Like I said, you don't see anything, but, like, I felt like I should add, like, at least a little bit of trigger warning there, you know. Running out of there. They don't want a warning there. So I was checking to see what the time is on the video. I don't know why, but so yeah, it's meeting Weenie and the Xenos and the relationship that builds between them, and then Bill having to decide, does he want to like stay away, or does he want to like kind of defend the Xenos, and he's, you know, the backlash from that, and then there's the whole, of course, you gotta have the standoff between those monster poaching assholes and Belle, and of course they manage to get Weenie and some of the Xenos, and they have to go and rescue them. And there was another thing that they showed that I was real fucking confused about until like the end of the show. I'm still a little bit confused about, is apparently, spoiler, if you're watching my review, I've spoiled a whole bunch of shit. Like, if you're at this point, like, just watch the fucking show before turning on my video. Like, I'm gonna spoil the shit. And like this old man is like ranting and raving. I don't know where the fuck he is, like at the fucking cave or something, and he's like digging, and he's like, I will be honest to this thirst. I will. There's just some random crazy fucking ramblings. And I'm a little confused about that. Like, were they showing the past, or were they showing this like character? Is he going to be important later on? In other words, why the fuck is this person here? And they like zoom in on his eyes, and it's got like this red symbol in it. I want to say like a shield, kind of reminds me like a shield. And apparently we find out that Nicholas is bored, and this literally was it. He's bored, and there's rumors that he was an Evalis, which is, I guess, those that want to introduce chaos to the world. Like, it just seems like he's fucking bored and he's an asshole, and his kids are fucking assholes. And basically, the kids that are like in his family, I guess some of them are descended from Daedalus, and I guess he wanted to do like one up his magnum opus, which is the labyrinth, and build something even better, so all of his descendants, like, he went into madness or whatever. Like, the way they explain this, or maybe just the way I interpreted it, it made me confused, but all of them have this like curse on them where like no matter what they have to finish the fucking labyrinth, and like it never leaves them. Like, they can't escape it. They have to finish the fucking thing. They have to do all the things they need. And then in order to get money, they're selling monsters. And of course, at one point, that may have been the case, but they're starting to get like a sick joy of it now, is what Dick says, where he's like, at first, yes, it was just for money, but then like, it's the only thing that like quiets the voices for like a fucking second. So he's quite, like, they fucking lost it. Horrible people. And it's just really interesting. And then, of course, they leave off where... Oh, here's a nice tidbit that how could I forget this? Is apparently not only do some monsters have intelligence, they can talk, some can... I guess what they say is, because they're kind of having, like, a meeting, like, when they... Oh, god damn, I know what I was doing. Sorry, hold on. This is real fucked up review. Even more than usual. So, yeah, Belle gets the letter, right? Is what I was saying. I remember now. And, the letter is from Aranos. And it's basically, well, they don't know that at the time. It's basically telling them to go to the 20th floor of the labyrinth and wait there. And what they do is they do that, and they go into like they're following the map, and they find like this unexplored part after like hearing singing, which I guess is another rumor that'd be going around with the armored like fucking lizard or whatever. I thought they'd been hearing singing and like talking in the dungeon, and apparently, of course, that's the Xenos. And they're like these unexplored pockets. They kind of like listen. They hear something like singing coming from a crystal. They blow it up. They go in. It's an unexplored pocket that's not on the map. The Xenos are waiting. Of course, they attack them, and it's a test. And they find out. Oh, okay, you're cool. You're actually basically the test is, are you going to defend Weenie, our kin? They don't know her at the time. They just know of her. Or are you gonna, when things get tough, you're gonna drop her? But no matter how dicey things got, they were defending her. And so like, okay, you're cool, you're not like other adventurers. Another fucking thing I forgot is they were trying to get information on talking monsters at the time, but doing it in like secret. So it's before all this happens, and they meet like a figure in a cloak who says, "You smell like my kin, but you don't smell of blood." She's like I want to say harpy. I don't know what the fuck she is. She's like pretty birdy, humanesque thing. So they meet, they don't, like, they can tell she's not human, but she disappears, and then back to what I was just saying about them, doing a test and being like, oh, you're right. As this one lizard dude who's the armor lizard. I'm a little confused if they were talking about Lyd. His name is Lyd. Who's this like red reptilian, almost human-esque. Like he's mostly basically he's like a bipedal lizard. Is it bipedal? Bipedal? I think it's bipedal. 2 fucking legs. Lizard thing. And I'm a little confused if they're talking about him, which I think they are, or if they're talking about Gross, who's like a gargoyle. So I'm assuming, because he's not wearing any armor, because I'm assuming he's a gargoyle, they don't say what the fuck he is I'm assuming they're talking about Lyd. And like the one posters and the rumors. And he kind of like gets into a fight with Belle, and Belle kind of like punches him, but of course he doesn't die. And he kind of like laughs. And he's like, hey, that was fun. And then like the harpy chick that they saw before was like, I told you, they're different. And he's like, oh, you're right. And then kind of was like, oh, sorry, we had to do this as a test because, blah, 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 like I was just saying. And they're like, of course, everyone else is just fucking confused. And then they kind of go to like one of these little pocket things, and they kind of have like a little drinking party. And there's this moment that making me laugh that happened like 3 times. Is you have Haruhime, who is the pretty blonde fox that had just joined the family. She's a maid now from season 2 that Belle saved. And then Makoto, and they're sitting on like, it's almost like these rock like bleachers. And there's like a wolf, it's like a wolf-headed man thing, like a frog, and some other fucking, like I think was it like a metal knight type thing. I think it's like a war wisp, where the fuck it was in armor. And they're like holding up like the beer club. Like the girls are kind of sitting with like their beers kind of just like, well, everyone else is partying around them. And these things just kind of like, the creatures I just described, they're like kind of below them, and then the girls are up here. Like, so they're about a level up. Like I said, on like these rock like bleachers. And they take their giant beer mugs and go, dink! I'm just like, are you hitting on them? Or are you just, like, what the fuck are you doing? And they do it like 3 times. It's so fucking awkward. They never point to it. It just, for when it just that random ass interaction happened 3 times, and the girl's just like, like they're not offended. They're just kind of like, the fuck is going on? I think Wolf is even like, am I dreaming? And then Lily is like, picture yourself, and she's like, you want me to pinch you? Like, Belle's kind of getting along. The rest of them are just so fucking confused. They're like, are we in a fever dream? Like, they're very confused because everyone's, like, all these monsters are partying around them. Like, this is just after the battle. And they're just like, what? And they're kind of explaining, what the Xenos are and how they have support from Uranus and some people in the guild, and that's how they've managed to get some weapons and stuff. And of course, some of the weapons they have is from adventurers that they killed that attacked them. Whew. Sorry, that was a breath. I need to take. And just, yeah, I really liked this season. I think it's probably, like, I've enjoyed all of the seasons, but I think it gets better as the show goes on. I definitely liked this season. I really liked Weene. She was adorable. There's a lot of stuff that I think I should explain. At the same time, I kind of don't want to spoil it all for you, even though I spoiled so fucking much. But it's if you like the first season and you like the second season, you're going to love this season. I think the worst content-wise, I don't mean, not as in, oh, that's bad, but, as in, the most triggery season was probably season 2. That was the most not okay, I think, just for trigger warnings. All the seasons were good. I just think that's the one that will really, be like, whoa. But, I still think this is a really good show, and it's worth watching, and I love the characters, and of course I love Belle, and I love how they keep going with the running joke about calling Belle a rabbit. And it just, I like the characters. I love the Xenos. I want to see before the show officially ends, however many seasons they do, however long the manga or whatever light novel goes on. I hope they manage to find at least the beginning steps of coexistence with the Xenos and humanity, because I just I like these characters. At first I was we have some of the monsters that were kind of kind of got along right away with Belle, which there's this one point where they kind of reaches out his hand to shake hands, and you can see Belle's a little bit afraid. He's quite clearly looking at the claws, but even though he's scared, he still grabs his hand and shakes it. and there's advice kind of like all the other little monsters that come over and like, can we shake your hand too? Like, they're quite happy. And then there's, of course, a few others, such as the spider chick I was talking about. Her name's Renee, I believe, and she dies. And a few others, and then, of course, you have Gross, who is the gargoyle. And they're not okay with Belle at first because they don't trust adventurers. So the others are kind of more welcoming, where he and a couple others, especially Spider-Girl, were like, yeah, no, I don't trust you yet. I don't trust you. I'm keeping my eye on you. Like, they're not hostile, but they're quite clearly like, we don't trust you. Y'all can celebrate. We don't fucking trust you. And Lid kind of like, come on, Gross. Like, give him a chance. And he does kind of take a new leaf at the end. And, I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I liked seeing Belle having to, like, really think. Because I think this has also been, like, the most selfish Belle's ever been. Like, he's quite clearly doing it for a good reason. Like, there are good monsters. But at the same time, like, it's a huge risk. If he's seen, protecting monsters, that's not going to go well for the Hestia family. You're going to be seen as the enemy of humanity. So, like I said, I think it's been, like, the most selfish he's ever been. And, like, he's not really thinking. Like, he kind of brings her along to protect her at the start of the show. And then, of course, they're like, the fuck are you doing? And then, like, there's a lot of back and forth in and out of the labyrinth. And trying to hide things, and things almost getting exposed, and you can see the toll it takes on the family and how tight-knit they are and how much they care about each other, but also, like, Belle kind of starting to realize by the end, with kind of like the end part of the battle with the Icalos family, is the poachers is what I mean by that, is like him just realizing how one wrong move and I'm fucked. And him, like, kind of panicking a little bit and having to think on his feet. And it's so good. I highly recommend it. It's on Crunchyroll. And I hope we get another season. I haven't looked. Like I said, I just finished it, so I haven't looked to see. Like, I don't deep dive into, like, anime news. But I will occasionally be like, will there be a season 4 of X? Name anime, whatever. Or so-and-so release date. Is so-and-so over? Are they going to continue it? Is the manga still going? Like, just kind of small questions, and like a few suggestions that Google gives me. Like, I don't go hunting for like the answers, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of get like a little search, and if I don't pull up anything, say, oh well, I hope it's popular enough to like get another season or whatever. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, check out my other videos. Hopefully I did a better job in this. It's not as rushed as my season 1 and season 2 review of this show. But I definitely feel like just a scatterbrained. It's kind of just my style, very scatterbrained. I don't do notes. I don't have the patience for notes. So y'all know, I think about it for like a second and then open my big goddamn mouth as I hit the play button. And you get this lovely little chaos. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing fine, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna watch now. Like, I'm kind of just waiting for, like, everything. Like, I'm watching the Spirit Chronicles thing. I really like that. I want the next episode of that. So, like, I'm enjoying that one. I'm enjoying more episodes of Slime, and then I'm enjoying Drugstore in the World, and then what else goes on Wednesday? Tsukimichi. Oh, so far, I'm all loving all those. Usually only, like, 1 or 2 things a season. And I kind of like, okay, I want the next episode. I want it. And I'll be like, to a few others, but like, so far, all the stuff I'm watching, I'm like, more. And then I'm also waiting for when the fuck we get Audio Fedetta season 2. Please let Hulu get it, please. I need it. I don't care how shitty the CGI is. I need that show. I love it. See that? I've rewatched that show like 3 times now. Still makes me cringe and laugh every time that goddamn, like, mouth opens with that fucking dragon. Oh god, I can't remember her name. No CGI ever. When something is so bad, you laugh at it. Anyway, and then what else? Thursdays. Is there anything on Thursdays? I don't remember. And then there's Fridays, is of course Villainous. We got the 2nd season of Villainous. Regular, like, the fuck do you mean by Villainous? My Next Life as a Villainous, obviously, to do. Also on Crunchyroll. All the ones I mentioned are on Crunchyroll. And then Saturday, I have, of course, the 2nd season of Welcome to Demon Skill Yuri Makun, which fucking love. One of my top anime. Love it. Love you, Ruma. Cannot wait for the next episode. Oh, the preview. And then there's also another show, A Realist Hero Saves the Kingdom. So everything I just mentioned is on Crunchyroll, and then that one is on Hulu. The one I just mentioned. And Sunday, I don't know if there's anything on Sunday. But yeah, so like, it's just almost every day we become like getting episodes of like stuff I want to watch, and I'm so happy because it's just all of it's leaving me wanting more, and just I'm not used to that. And like I said, I'm used to like maybe one or two, then I'm kind of like, okay, we're all more episodes, and the rest I'm kind of like, or I don't know if I want to continue this, or I'm not super excited that I have to watch it like as soon as it comes out. But like all the ones that I just told you, it's like I want to watch it as soon as they come out. I'm looking for it. Is it up yet? You know, I have the Crunchyroll app on my phone, so I'm like, is it up yet? Is it up yet? Fuck, it's not up yet. When is it gonna be up yet? I'm so happy that like Iruma updates early in the morning. So this is the thing, it's like if I'm awake, it's probably already up. I'm like, yes. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, fuck, it's up. Everything else, now you can wait until noon, bitch. 1 o'clock. Have fun. This is the name of the time. That's just, I'm guessing. Anyway, yeah, I need to stop rambling. And I'm hot. Like, it's hot. Not as hot as that one fucking record breaking thing we had, which seriously fucked the week. It's horrible. But we're gonna get into the 90s. I'm not excited about that. I do not do well with heat. So as you can hear my fucking thing blasting loudly. It's only on level 3. It's got 5. And yeah. So I hope everyone's doing fine. And you enjoyed my incredibly long review and me rambling at the end. Bye.